Something invisible is pushing our galaxy, and no one can stop it. Welcome to the epicenter of cosmic mystery. Welcome to Mind-Blown Space, where what we don't understand becomes even more fascinating. Today, our galaxy is moving at full speed. And you know what's the best part? Nobody knows for sure where or why, and if that wasn't enough, there is an unknown event that, when you discover it, will make you rethink everything you thought about the universe. But we'll get to that. Right now, as you listen to this, you are traveling through space at speeds that would make any luxury car cry. The Earth spins on its axis, orbits the Sun moves through the Milky Way, and the Milky Way itself sails between clusters of galaxies whose names are hard to even pronounce. So far, so good. The universe is vast. We move within it, nothing strange. Until scientists notice something that didn't add up at all. It turns out that our galaxy, along with many others, is moving toward a region known as the Shapley Supercluster, an area with an extremely high density of galaxies. Logic indicated that we were being pulled there by gravity. But there's a problem. The calculations don't add up. The mass in that region isn't enough to explain the speed at which we're moving. I repeat, the universe is moving too fast and no one knows why. Up to this point, one might think something hidden is pulling us, but the surprise is even greater. What was discovered is not something pulling us, it's something pushing us. And no, it's not a black hole or some playful dark energy. It's nothing. A void, literally empty. Scientists have called it the Dipolar Repeller. And according to them, what we feel is not a pull, it's a cosmic kick. Since when does nothing push things? Welcome to the universe, where even emptiness has character. And the most unsettling part is that, although this nothingness seems harmless, it's affecting the path of our entire galaxy. A little push here, a deviation there. And suddenly, our place in the universe stops making sense. The universe doesn't stay still, and neither do you. Sometimes we think we're tucked away in a quiet corner of the cosmos, peacefully floating in a soup of stars. But the truth is much more unsettling. We move. Everything moves. And not slowly like in those romantic space movie scenes. We're traveling at absurd speeds, as if the universe is in a hurry. The Earth spins at over 1,600 kilometers per hour. It orbits the Sun at over 100,000 kilometers per hour. And that's just the beginning of this galactic roller coaster. Our entire galaxy, the gigantic Milky Way, moves through space like a rocket without a fixed direction. But here comes the most mind-blowing part. It's not moving alone. It's part of an even larger structure, the Milky Way Supercluster, which itself moves toward another even more massive supercluster, the Shapley Supercluster. Great. Everything seems to fit, until physicists decided to do the math. And then came the big scientific slap. There isn't enough matter to justify such speed. Look, we have a universe where everything should behave with a certain gravitational logic, but it turns out something is pushing us, not pulling, like some cosmic ghost blowing in our backs. And that something has no name, no mass, and no sense. But still, it's there. At least that's what astronomers say, who have resigned themselves to living with the inexplicable. And here enters the famous Dipolar Repeller. It's not a star, it's not a planet, not a black hole or a galactic gas cloud. It's, get this, a void. Yes, a place so empty that its lack of mass causes a gravitational repulsion effect, or rather, an illusion of a push, because really, nothing is pushing. What happens is that since there's nothing in that area, everything else exerts more attraction, creating the feeling that we're being pushed away. If you thought gravity only pulls, the universe has other ideas. The best part is that this phenomenon is so enormous, it affects the movement of thousands of galaxies, not just ours. And yet, it's hidden behind a curtain of stellar dust that keeps us from observing it directly. As if the universe, besides being sarcastic, were also shy. When nothingness becomes the main character. Since the invention of telescopes, astronomers have been obsessed with searching for things. Galaxies, clusters, supernovas, nebulas, whatever. But this time, the mystery isn't in what we see, but in what we don't see. The Dipolar Repeller is not a presence, it's an absence with attitude. A void that, instead of going unnoticed like any decent void, has decided to disrupt half the universe's balance. And it does so from the shadows, or rather, from the famous zone of avoidance. What is that? Basically, it's the part of the sky we can't see because the Milky Way gets in the way with its gas, dust, and desire to hide mysteries. Behind that cosmic veil lies everything we don't want to face, the unknown, the invisible, and the scientifically frustrating. When scientists began mapping the movements of nearby galaxies, they noticed a strange pattern. Some were clearly heading toward the Shapley Supercluster, as expected. But others seemed to be moving away from a specific region, as if that zone was so uncomfortable that galaxies decided not to get close. And as good humans do, when something scares thousands of galaxies, the first thing we do is name it. That's how the Dipolar Repeller was born. But how the heck can something that doesn't exist push galaxies? Here comes an explanation only the universe could invent. If the cosmos were evenly filled with matter, there would be no movement. Forces would balance out in all directions. But if suddenly you remove matter from one side, the balance breaks. Not because there's an active force, but because there is attraction on the other side. So everything seems to flee the void, or in other words, the void seems to push. It's an illusion, yes, but an illusion with real consequences. This bubble of nothingness, about 100 million light-years in diameter, has reshaped the course of our galaxy and many others. It has no official name beyond the repeller, doesn't shine, doesn't emit heat, doesn't make noise, and yet moves gigantic structures of the universe like pieces on a cosmic chessboard. In short, the universe doesn't need monsters to scare you. Sometimes what's most frightening is what isn't there. The invisible push that changed everything. After so many twists, impossible numbers, and voids with a god complex, it's time to unveil the mystery I mentioned at the beginning. That cosmic event so absurd it seems ripped from a scientific parody. Get ready, our entire galaxy is being pushed by a hole in the universe. That simple, and that insane. Forget about alien civilizations pulling us with gravitational hooks. What's really moving us is the absence of something. An immense hole of nothingness, perfectly positioned just right to tip the cosmic balance. Sounds like a cruel joke from the universe, but it's pure physics. Or at least, that's what scientists try to explain without pulling their hair out. The key is understanding that the universe's expansion doesn't happen uniformly. Where there's more mass, there's more gravity, which slows expansion. But in an empty region, without matter to hold it back, expansion runs wild. Space stretches faster, and that stretching causes nearby things to move away. That's how a void ends up acting like a cosmic engine. The most mind-blowing part is when astronomers compared the direction of our motion with known locations of massive clusters like Shapley, they noticed something didn't add up. The push came from somewhere else. And when they traced flow lines, the big surprise was discovering that the dipolar repeller's void explained our trajectory better than any cluster loaded with tons of mass. I repeat, a void explains our movement better than a galactic mountain of matter. As if that weren't enough, the void cannot be seen. It emits no light, has no color, cannot be photographed with a common camera. It's only inferred from the strange behavior of the rest of the universe. It's like trying to catch a ghost by watching how the curtains move. Since this idea was proposed in 2017, the scientific community has been debating, correcting models, and struggling with telescopes that refuse to look where they should. But one thing is clear, the universe doesn't need to be full to move. Sometimes, all it takes is removing one piece for everything else to start rolling. And so, without explosions or portals, our galaxy is on its way to the unknown, pushed by the most elegant engine of all, the void. Thanks for watching Mind Blown Space. If the universe has left you baffled, subscribe and share this video with anyone who needs a good dose of cosmic reality. See you on the next journey.